One of them was nearly, one of them was down, and the other one was
Yeah, he's
so
down.
weak. Nice.
Oh, there's one in the left, there's one in the left.
No.
One in the left.
One left.
Behind you. Yeah, one left, one left.
Yo. Hey, call me daddy. Oh no.
One.
Call me daddy, mommy. Get the floor. Get on the floor. I was about to save you, bro. That doesn't make
run,
any
cinema.
There's no.
Yeah, cinema.
Damn, I was gonna say call me daddy if you want me to pick you up,
yeah.
but he died. So the build we're gonna be showing you is a build that you might have seen me playing a lot if you've seen me in Conflict or the Dark Zone. It's probably been my go-to build over the last month since I actually put the build out on my main channel. And the reason why is because it does a lot of really good things for the Kingbreaker. It gives it better accuracy, better stability, gives it rate of fire. Not only that, since you're able to drop the enemy before they can drop you, means you have survivability too. But the crazy thing about this build is you can run it a lot of different ways. I've had people come up to me and say, yo, Skills, I am running this at 1.7 million armor and it's still fun to use. And typically I run mine at 1.3 or 1.5. If I'm in the Dark Zone, typically 1.5 unless we need more damage. But if I am in Conflict, as you're seeing here, 1.3, and usually I run that solo. Now in the Dark Zone, usually I'm typically in a team. If we have a healer, you can run 1.3 and be fine. If you don't, 1.5 would probably be a little bit better for you, especially if you're just running with multiple DPS players. You see, we're just shredding through these guys. There's 3 of us. It was 4 of them. They went down pretty fast. You saw how fast, how much damage I was actually doing. And that's honestly what's cool about it. You can still survive with the 1.5 million armor because we have a healer, obviously. So depending what your group play is, how you guys are playing, depends on how much armor you should be running on this build. But what like I say is if you are in the Dark Zone, typically I run 1.5. And that's matter of fact because, you know, there's a lot of skill build players, a lot of people who use status effects. You want to be able to have some type of survivability that you don't die instantly. Even with a healer, you're going to need to have some type of armor. But the damage is there, guys. And once you use this build, you'll probably go back to using other Kingbreaker builds and realize, man, it just doesn't feel the same because of the rate of fire. The Kingbreaker feels so slow. And I've actually had that same issue. I've gone back, played other builds without the striker setup on this build, and I'm telling you guys, it has felt so different. I'm like, what is going on? This can't be it. So what I will tell you guys is I 100% will try the build, mess with it, add more armor, add less armor, see what combinations work for you. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will enjoy it if you haven't already tried it. If you have and you watched this video on the main channel put out about a month ago, well, then you guys are probably already enjoying the build. If you haven't and it's the first time you're watching it, well, you guys are going to enjoy this build. So we're going to get into the build breakdown. Wanted to show you some new gameplay that you probably didn't see from the first video. So this is some different gameplay for you guys and using that same build. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we are going to wrap this gameplay up and dive right into the build. Let's get it. Probably guessed it, we are running the Kingbreaker as our primary, and the reason why is because it has 139,000 damage, almost 140, sitting at 748 RPM. Yes, on this build I have a higher RPM and a 50 round mag with assault rifle, health damage, and damage to targets out of cover. And by now you know that the Kingbreaker has a talent called Perfect Flatline that amplifies damage to pulse enemies by 20%. So I am running this with a technician so that I can use the link laser pointer, but not only that, it's also giving me a skill tier to get me to skill tier 3 when I do have my pistol out, and I'll explain that in a second. For the secondary, you can run whatever you want. Currently I have the custom M870 with Flatline 2, or I swap it up with the FAMAS with Optimus. Really up to you. So for the mask, we are running the Fenris. We have 10% assault rifle for running a 1-piece. For running a 2-piece, we get 20% reload speed. Reload speed definitely helps out on this weapon because once I unload the full magazine, then I can reload pretty quick. And we have armor on here, we have critical hit damage, critical hit chance, and critical hit chance mod. Now, if you want to run a little bit less armor, because you can, well, I typically run at 1.3 if I'm in Conflict, 1.5 if I'm in the Dark Zone. For the chest, we're running the closer chest. This is going to give us 5% total armor and 10% armor on kill. We have armor, we have critical hit damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage mod, and then we have perfect spotter. So it's going to amplify my total weapon damage and skill damage by 20% to pulse enemies. So for our holster, we have the Walker and Harris, where we have a 2-piece Walker and Harris. It's going to give us 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, and then we have weapon damage on here, critical hit chance, and critical hit damage on here. So like I said, you guys can mess with the core attribute. If you need a little bit more armor, stack more armor. If you need a little bit more weapon damage, put more weapon damage. Now we are unlocking the 3-piece striker battle gear. If you notice, we have the 2-piece with 15% weapon handling, and then the 3-piece with 15% rate of fire. That is why you actually saw my Kingbreaker at a higher RPM. And I haven't had as much fun with the Kingbreaker since I've done this build. And this is probably one of my favorite builds at the moment. We have weapon damage and critical hit damage on the attributes. For the gloves, we're running our 2nd piece of strikers with weapon damage and critical hit chance. Now our final piece, the Ninja Bike Messenger Bag, that's allowing us to unlock the 2-piece and all the gold pieces and the 3-piece on the striker. So we have weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and then obviously we have 12% critical damage. So you guys know how Ninja Bike works, slots in any equipped gear set or brand sets to fulfill the requirement towards unlocking a gear set bonus. So that's why when we run this, we're able to unlock the 2-piece on the Fenris, we're able to unlock the 2-piece on the Uzina, we're able to unlock the 2-piece on the Walker and Harris. Now, if you notice, we're getting that damage to armor, so it's almost like if we were running the Contractor gloves, right? Because Contractor gloves gives 8%, well, 2-piece Walker and Harris. So I personally am having a ton of fun with this. I did want to show you the skills I run. I like the Defender drone. This definitely works in PvP. As you can see, we're getting PvP damage reduction at 21% when we do have 3 skill tiers. And then we do have the decoy, or you can run whatever skills you want. Now, how do I unlock the 3rd skill tier? Well, whenever I'm going to use a skill, I swap to my pistol, I use the skill. Like if I'm gonna jam, then that means I can jam up to 6 skill tier. So it's pretty cool. So that's what I love. And then obviously, if I'm gonna put down a skill or use a skill, I always swap to my pistol first, unlock that tier 3, drop the skill, boom, that's tier 6, and then I can use whatever I want. So for me, this is how I've been running my build. I'm telling you guys, this thing is an absolute beast. 50% crit chance, 117% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, 5% armor damage, 21% health damage, and 10% damage trucks out of cover. So that's why on this build, it's so good. And I tell you, the best part about it is having that extra weapon handling on the build and then having the extra 15% rate of fire. And if you look right here, our reload time is 1.8 seconds. So having 748 RPM on this Kingbreaker has been one of the best things that I've been able to do. Obviously, you guys can see I am running at 23 expertise. So you're seeing the damage that you can do at max expertise. So there's something for you guys to keep in mind where you guys can push this build. And yeah, that's the build right there, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed this one, drop a like, leave a comment. Hey, thanks again, everybody. Nothing but skills out.